I get it! I get it!
They say Tony Soprano found clarity in Vegas. He didn't. He found proof that God had clocked out of New Jersey. There are few moments in The Sopranos as horrifying as Tony's peyote-fueled revelation in Las Vegas. Fresh off murdering his surrogate son and protege Christopher,
Chris said you two took peyote together.
Tony wanders into the desert with a mistress, rolls a 7 at the craps table, stares into the sun, and shouts with manic conviction, "I get it!" To the casual eye, it's a drugged-out hallucinatory interlude. To anyone paying attention, it's something much worse. Tony's moment of spiritual liberation, from guilt, from conscience, and from any illusion that justice exists.
The desert, the light.
The scene unfolds as an inverse baptism. Tony, finally unshackled from the suffocating obligations of family, therapy, and decency, steps into a blinding Nevada sun and realizes that the universe couldn't care less about his sins. He has smothered his own nephew, and instead of cosmic punishment, he's rewarded with pleasure, luck, and peace. The natural 7 is the punchline of the universe's cruel joke. Nothing matters, least of all morality.
You don't have to chew it.
For the entire Vegas trip, Tony is subconsciously awaiting retribution. Surely there must be a sign, a panic attack, divine bolt, or psychic collapse, to affirm that somewhere a higher power still monitors the moral balance sheet. But the cosmos offers him silence. No lightning, no conscience, no punishment. Merely drugs, a beautiful woman, and an improbable winning streak.
I get it! I get it!
The absence of consequence becomes his revelation. When he cries, "I get it," what he gets is that there is no ledger. No God, no karma, no justice. Only a random, indifferent void. This epiphany doesn't enlighten him, it annihilates him. In that instant, Tony becomes untethered from the last vestiges of his humanity. Whatever remained of the man who sought therapy, who wanted to be a good father, or who once wept for the ducks in his pool, dies in that desert. He accepts his true self, a predator unburdened by empathy, free to devour without remorse. It's not a moral awakening, but a moral extinction. The brilliance of the scene lies in its ambiguity. Some viewers, perhaps seduced by the cinematic beauty of the desert, mistake the moment for transcendence. It isn't. It's an anti-epiphany.
Excuse me.
The pulsing sun that mesmerizes him echoes the lighthouse from his coma vision, once a symbol of salvation, now grotesquely repurposed into validation for his evil. In his distorted perception, the universe itself winks back at him, assuring him it's all cool. Heaven, it seems, is closed for the season. There's an argument that Tony's "I get it" reflects a kind of nihilistic enlightenment familiar to those who romanticize psychedelics. The idea that the self dissolves, that the boundaries of ego vanish, that one becomes at one with everything. But Tony's version of ego death is an inversion, a sociopath's parody of transcendence. Where most find humility in their smallness, Tony finds permission. The realization that the world is meaningless doesn't make him compassionate. It makes him unstoppable.
Hey, welcome back, Tom.
Later, when he recounts his trip to his crew, the hollowness of his spiritual breakthrough becomes clear. He struggles to articulate it, while the others feign understanding.
I got dosed with acid once, back at 68.
And Polly, ever the philosopher, interrupts with a story about seeing Uncle Junior shoot laser beams out of his eyes. The profundity dissolves into absurdity. Whatever he thought he learned evaporates under fluorescent lights and deli chatter. The universe remains silent.
Got a mysterious package, postmarked Las Vegas.
And Tony returns to New Jersey unscathed, emboldened, and soulless. If the Vegas trip marks the death of Tony's conscience, the final diner scene marks the death of his body. But long before his head meets the bullet, or doesn't, depending on one's interpretation, his humanity is already gone.
Onion rings.
Best in the state, as far as I'm concerned.
The man eating onion rings with his family in Holston's is an empty vessel. Even the much debated onion rings, his best in the state, become symbolic. They're circular, hollow, and fried. Perfection rendered meaningless. The indulgence is pure, unburdened by thought. It's his last supper, his victory lap in a universe that rewards moral rot with cholesterol.
I'm having a,
Reaction?
The onion ring itself is also a quiet reminder of his physical decay. Earlier in the series, Tony's doctor warns that fried acidic foods could trigger a fatal reaction. That detail, revisited in his final meal, serves as a morbid irony. The man who believes himself immune to consequence eats his own death with relish. Whether he's killed by rival mobsters, by the FBI's failures, or by his own arteries is irrelevant.
get older.
The point is that Tony no longer cares. He has outlived the concept of meaning. This indifference extends beyond his family. By the show's end, Tony's wife and son exist merely as accessories to his delusion. He once preached about the little moments with family, yet when reminded of the phrase by his son, he can't even recall having said it. "I said that?" he sneers, bewildered. Whatever genuine sentiment once flickered inside him has been extinguished. He is steering the ship as best he can, but the captain has long since abandoned the notion of destination. There are those who insist Tony's true realization comes not in the desert but later, when he visits the nursing home and confronts a senile Uncle Junior.
You and my dad. You two ran North Jersey.
We did? Well, that's nice.
"You and my father, you two ran North Jersey," Tony reminds him, to which Junior replies with blank detachment, "We did? Oh, that's nice." If the peyote trip is Tony's liberation from guilt, this scene is his liberation from illusion. His empire, his power, his endless maneuvering, it all dissolves into nothing under Junior's vacant gaze. The legacy he built means as much as the hallucinated son he once worshipped. Yet the show's spiritual framework complicates this nihilism.
I saw the Virgin Mary.
The Sopranos flirts often with the supernatural. The Virgin Mary apparition, the ghosts of Pussy and Mikey Palmise, Christopher's hellish near-death visions. The universe may be indifferent to Tony, but the show's universe is not indifferent to morality. In The Many Saints of Newark, Christopher narrates from hell, confirming that some form of cosmic justice exists, even if Tony refuses to believe it. His "I get it" is thus not a revelation of truth but a delusion, a final defiant lie whispered into the void. Others interpret the scene more mundanely. Tony believes that Christopher was his bad luck charm. With Christopher dead, his fortunes reverse. He wins at the tables, his headaches ease, his burdens lift. "I get it," then, becomes the smug rationalization of a gambler who's finally found his scapegoat. It's simpler, but no less grotesque. He kills the man who represented his conscience, and congratulates himself for feeling lighter. Perhaps the most disturbing interpretation, however, frames Tony as something beyond human altogether. Throughout the series, he behaves like a moral contagion, a demonic force whose pleasure lies in corrupting others. He tempts his sister away from self-improvement, lures born-again women back into sin, and mocks every gesture toward redemption he encounters. Within this reading, "I get it" is not an admission of cosmic emptiness, but an embrace of his demonic nature. He realizes that his role in the universe is to destroy goodness, not seek it.
Spicy.
Good as Willem Dafoe was.
David Chase's Catholic sensibility saturates the series, and through that lens, Tony's enlightenment becomes a perverse inversion of Dante's Divine Comedy. Dante ascends through hell toward divine grace. Tony descends through grace toward hell, achieving his own form of beatitude in damnation. His desert revelation is not transcendence, it's coronation. He has become exactly what he was meant to be, the smiling devil of suburban New Jersey. When the final fade to black comes, the audience sees what Tony cannot. His cosmic freedom is a mirage. The bullet, or the nothingness, arrives all the same. He may believe that the universe has absolved him, But the silence that greets him at Holston's isn't divine indifference. It's judgment. The man who once shouted, "I get it," finally receives his answer. Nothing. And in the end, nothing is exactly what he deserves. I get it. You will too, after you subscribe.